Girls, have you ever been asked the question of what you gonna do with your money? You gonna keep all your money to yourself so you could go shopping? You expect your husband to pay all the bills so you could go shopping? Those questions, honey, come from fools. Read the Bible. Read Proverbs. It's all up in there. Fools, fools, fools. That's our question for today. Welcome back to Church Girls Want to Get Married Too. My name is Janice Hilton Thompson. If you have not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe. Check to make sure you have subscribed. And please share. And once you're finished listening to this video, watching this video, then please share for me, okay? On all of your social media network. Excuse me. So, ladies, you know I am all for marrying a man that can provide for us. I don't believe in marrying a man that I got to put my 50 cents with his 50 cents to put a roof over my head. I don't believe in that. My father said, the least a husband can do is put a roof over his wife's head and food on her table. You know what that means? That means the least a husband can do independent of his wife is to provide a roof for her and food on her table. Because after all, ladies, a man, we are coming under his submission, his protection, his provision, and his profession of love. So if he can't provide for me, I ain't gonna marry you. Child, please, no ma'am. When I was dating, I only continued to date men who could provide a comfortable life for me. I wasn't looking for no roommate to do 50-50. Now I'm talking about me. And I'm talking to single girls. I'm talking to church girls who want to get married. If you're married, put your finger in your ears. Put your finger in your ears. This is not for you. I'm talking to single girls, church girls who want to get married. And I'm telling you what I did and what my father taught. I do not believe if I'm going to marry to this man and submit to him and he can't provide for me, like, what's the purpose of me marrying you? Submitting to you. I'm submitting to you, but you can't even put a roof over my head. Church girls, I'm talking to single church girls now. Say it. Single church girls only. So when I was dating ladies, I only dated men or continued to date men. Once I got the data that he can't provide for me, I was out. I was gathering data on this guy in my late 20s. Nice guy. Graduated from, I never remember that school that President Trump attended. That very expensive business school. He had a studio apartment, and I guess he made decent money. But his student loan, he was about $500,000 in student loan debts. I was out. That was it. I was down, child. Please, that's a lot of money. I know we all have a little bit of debt, but that's a whole lot of debt that I am not about to attach myself to. We're gonna come back around to what a wife does with her money. I'm not attaching myself to all of that debt. And guess what? When the market crashed, guess what happened? He lost his job. He could not even afford his studio apartment. So guess what he had to do? He had to move back home with his mama. So as you gather the data, if he can't provide for you, you have to make a decision. Me personally, I'm out. I'm not marrying a man that I got to put 50 cents. You got to be able to at least put a roof over my head. Sorry. What does a wife do with her money? If a husband is providing and paying the bills as my husband does, the Lord blessed me with a wonderful man. God knew I was praying and I was keeping myself and I was gathering the data. And every time I met a man that was not it, I would let him go and move. That's why I never had a boyfriend. I've never had a boyfriend. So I got married when I was 30, almost 36. In all of my 36 years, with the exception of your little play boyfriends when you was like 5, 6, and 8, I never had a boyfriend because I was not dating for a boyfriend. I was dating for a man, a husband, ladies. Okay, you want a boyfriend or you want a husband? Bible say he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So these men are not going out here that's looking for wives. They're not looking for girlfriends. They're looking for wives. And you need to be a wife. Daddy say you need to be a wife when he finds you. Okay? You're not a wife when you're at the altar. Yes, you sign the paper at the altar, but you are to carry yourself as a wife. And so my husband find me, and he is sole provider of our home. What do I do with my money? What do wives and couples that their husband are sole providers and they don't need their wife's money to pay rent and put food over on their table? We plan generational wealth. We are saving money for generations. My son is 4-year-old. He already has a college fund. From the moment we got his social security number, I don't know how long that took, a month. First thing we did was added him to our life insurance policy and college fund for our son. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That means Big Michael and I, are supposed to be laying up money for little Michael's children. We're not there. How many of you can say, I know many of our Jewish brothers and sisters are there, because that's how they was brought up in the first 5 books of the Bible, the law. Lay up an inheritance for your children's children. But how many of us can say, you have a college fund for your baby? When your baby is ready to go to school, you can say, baby, you don't got to stress. Here's your college is paid for. Here's the check. Your college education is paid. How many of us can say that? My husband and I, we will be able to say that. When he's ready for college, he will be going to college, because he's going to be president of these United States, or whatever he wants to do. I think he's bending towards my husband. My husband is in engineering. And so I can see Michael bent. The Bible says, bend, train him in a way he should go. And when he's old, he will not get to it. So you bend him into that path. So I see him going over that way. It's okay, whatever he wants to do. But when he's ready, his college education will be paid for. What does wives whose husbands provide for them? We don't go shopping. Well, we do go shopping, but we don't go spend our whole paycheck at the mall. We don't go get nails and stuff done. I asked my husband for money to go get my nails done. Why? Because I'm tapping into his anointing to provide for me. We are laying up treasures for our children. We are leaving an inheritance for our children and for our children's children. And I told my husband, something else I want to do. I'm going to open an account, maybe this week, and start putting a little money in there for him to buy a house. Buy a house. Buy a house. That's his house money. So when it's time and he's ready, he can buy a house and buy it cash. 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 When our son is ready to go to school, his college education will be paid for. We're believing God and working on another baby. Guess what? Her or his college education will be paid for. And when they're ready to buy a house, we want to give them the money to buy the house. We want to gift it to them. So when you want to turn your lips, especially the foolish men, why your husband is breaking his back and you can't help him. I didn't marry the type of man that needed me to put 50% towards the rent. The type of man I married. I married a man who prepared himself to be a husband. It's in the book coming soon. Bam. A prepared husband. I chose a prepared man who prepared himself to be a husband. That's why he when I told him I was buying a multifamily house, he said, "Is that what you really want?" I said, "No, I want a one family. Really want a one family so Lexa could run around and play and blah blah." He said, "Well, look for that." And some people think, "Well, you should have still bought the multifamily house." I was buying the multifamily house so I could live in one and use the other one to pay my rent. Now I have a husband that says, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. What does a wife do with their money? What do I do with the money I earned? Buy my husband gifts, buy him stuff, buy the kids stuff, anything around the house I need. I'm looking at my curtains. I'm like, oh, I need to go get me some new curtains. Yes, spring curtains. I need some spring curtains. About to go buy me some spring curtains. But most importantly is leaving an inheritance for our children. Children. We're working on little Michael right now. We're not at our grandchildren, and we want to get there. So that's why, ladies, that's why you choose a husband who has prepared himself, who can provide for you. So you can be free. You and your husband have this extra money and extra income to be free to start build for your children. So they don't have to get in the debt that you got in. When I met my husband, I was still paying my student loan and I had a free ride to college. I stayed back an extra year to take a class that I ended up getting a C in. I was so pissed. So I was still paying off my student loans. But if I had graduated when I was supposed to, I would not have had a student loan debt. I would not have paid one penny. And so when our little boy, little Michael, is ready for school, his education will be paid for. He won't have to pay a penny. He won't even have to work. He can just concentrate on his school. Of course, if he wants to work, he can. He's going to just concentrate on his education. So how many of you ladies can say you are laying up an inheritance for your children and for your children's children, or you're going to choose a husband that needs your 50%? Now, if that's what you want to do, whatever. No, can't be me. Ain't going to be me talking. Because, see, I understand. You read the Bible. If you read the Bible, it will tell you what type of husband you should choose and how to choose a husband and what you need to look for, so on and so forth. That's what I did. There go, girl. Love you. Subscribe. Share. Tell somebody about my channel. Share on all of your social media network. Leave in the comments for me. Are you building up an inheritance for your children's children? For your children and for your children. When your kids are ready for college, will you be able to write a check and say your education is paid for? Or do they have to go take on student loans and get into debt? I'm going to talk about debt. Debt is a yoke on our shoulders. That's why I had to run from that man that was $500,000 in debt. I'm not marrying that. Yes, we all have some debt. People have credit cards, and that's too much debt for me. I'm not marrying that. Gotta go. Bye. Love you, girl. Love you.